Just bear with me for 1 minute.
Sure.
And we're gonna go for it. You guys can chat with each other until I'm doing that. So
Ryan, you're
No,
kicking it off, right?
Supposedly, I'm here to kick things off.
What's the
Yeah,
order
Ryan is the first
what's
one.
The order of
I'm like the
speaking?
leadoff batter in baseball.
yeah,
Very
I'll tell you
small,
everything,
mighty, and
guys.
just base hits. Make it easy.
Yeah, I'm doing it on purpose. You know, there is a go why no Ryan is first, but let me find my post so I can update the link, man. I should post less on LinkedIn. Yeah, I cannot find my posts. Okay, here it is. Yeah, by the way, I know I should message LinkedIn. I'll give them an idea. They should put all the posts like in a grid, like a table, so I can go back and check by date. It would be much easier instead of browsing.
So Ryan, even a Frisbi microphone, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mess around. I have a bunch of swag here. I have buttons, pens. I even made my own.
Okay, guys, we're live. Almost exactly 1 year ago, we had a webinar with Ryan, Mina Elias, and I forgot who was the other guy. Anyways, and you know, my microphone was broken. So then after the webinar, Ryan told me, okay, Nick, you do so many webinars, you should buy a microphone. I did one. I did actually buy one. I've been using it since then, but today I cannot use it because I cannot use my mouse if I plug it in. So anyways, I'm using the advice of my partner. So let me share my screen and I guess we can get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys. Okay, everybody, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining our, I think, first webinar of 2023. And I've been planning this one for a few months. We couldn't do it earlier because of everybody on here have been busy. So this is the Amazon All-Stars, and I've named the webinar on purpose because the people who are going to speak today have tremendous experience at Amazon in e-commerce. Now, this is just like a rough calculation, but the people who are going to speak today, they have a combined experience of over 100 years. And so it's a huge amount of time if you look at it, but that's why we're doing the webinar with one of the best speakers that I've had in my show before, and people who are going to share invaluable insights about what you can do with your Amazon business in 2023. So the topics would be customer list building, follow-up marketing, riskless funding, global expansion, and flawless PPC and taxes. So the speakers, they are Abe Chomali, founder of HP Strategy, Don Henig, co-founder of AccrueMe, Ryan Cramer, head of marketing and growth at Frisbi, and Seth Stevens, co-founder of Post Purchase Pro. Sean would not be able to join, but you know, we're actually about to do like the first time we took our founders in the webinar, but we couldn't do it. But anyways, Seth is gonna join later. You know, he apologized that he could not join from the beginning. And I'm your host. I'm Nick Penev. I am the co-founder of Extreme Power Brands and the partnership manager at Hello Tax, and I'm happy to have you tonight with me. Tonight, your morning, your day. I assume people are everywhere. So, like all my webinars, we have sponsors. These are people who are not paying. These are people who are actually promoting and sponsoring the event by contributing to get more people, so we can share our knowledge with their clients. So the gold sponsor today is Link My Books. They provide automated, accurate accounting software for Amazon, Shopify, eBay, and its sellers, and accountants who are using Xero and QuickBooks. They're giving a giveaway of 50% discounts for the first 3 months who are going to use their subscription, and the code is here, Nick50. We're going to send all this information over email later on so we can check it out. Value is 500 per coupon. Then the second sponsor is Extreme Power Brands. That's my company. It's a partnership as a service agency and a network with over 1,000 companies, which are e-commerce service providers. We help e-commerce service providers to grow through partnership in the space. And as a matter of fact, one of our clients got acquired last week by Carbon6, DA-driven. Congratulations, Nater. We've been working with him for 2 years, and he's the third client who got acquired after using our service. So soon in the next quarter, we're going to offer the service for brands, but we're not there yet. And every time we do one giveaway, a free partnership audit for free. So if you would like to understand if you're great at partnership or if you suck, let us know after the event. We're going to do an audit we don't want anything from you. Just tell us, here's our website, and we're going to tell you what we see. And the bronze sponsor today is Dobby Ads. Dobby Ads is an award-winning creative service company for Amazon sellers that designs product, infographics, EBC, images, and videos. They're giving away free complete sets of EBC images for free, total value of $600, and we're gonna get that at the end. So let's get started with the topic. So here's our agenda today. The first speaker would be Ryan, and the reason for that is the following. There is a slowdown in the economy. Everybody's looking for ways how they can grow their business, but most of the time people are scared because they don't know what to do. So Frisbi are gonna talk about, and Ryan gonna talk about growing an international brand, understanding Amazon global expansion model in 2023, because this is the quickest way for a company selling in the USA or any market to actually reach new clients without changing too much in their business model. After that, of course, once you expand somewhere, the next thing that you need to do is scale your brand. So this is where Abe is gonna talk about how to level up your marketing and protect your brand with PPC, because each expansion involves a lot of growth, and he's an expert in that. He's been doing that for over 30 years. After that, once you expand, let's say, to Europe or to the USA, how do you go to the next level? Funding. So this is where Don is going to come into the picture with his topic, laughing all the way to the bank.
We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun, Nick.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. How to increase your ROI by 50% and have fun at the same time, because that's important. Life is not the same if you don't have fun. Too much work is not good if you don't laugh at the end, if you don't enjoy
right.
it. After that, we have Seth. He's not here, but he's going to come. If he doesn't come, I think all of us know exactly what they're doing, so we can reiterate, but they're going to talk about something which very few companies are using. Me personally, I was running an e-commerce business for 10 years. I had 500,000 clients, and I didn't send a single email, so I'm an idiot. But if you listen to Post-Purchase Pro, you can take advantage of the email marketing. So they're going to talk about how to transform any Amazon business into a ridiculous, profitable Gushing machine. And I know what they're doing, but wait for them to talk about that. And I'm going to talk at the end, because we don't want to scare everybody and talk about taxes, but I'm going to talk more about how we can expand Europe in 2023, because if you guys don't know, there is 450 million clients who are waiting for it. These are people over 80 in Europe. And of course, at the end, we're going to have the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. If you need to leave, don't worry. We're going to have the recording. We're streaming live, so we're going to watch that tomorrow, and you can have your question answered. We already have almost 15 questions for people who cannot attend the event. So wait for the end, ask your questions, and I hope that you enjoy it. But let's start with Ryan, because like I said, expansion is the way to go. So thank you for joining, Ryan, and you're the first one. You're the pioneer tonight.
I'm the pioneer today. I love it.
Yeah.
So let me move some of the stuff around so people don't see myself talking to everyone else. Thanks, Nick. And like you mentioned, kind of briefly, I almost don't have to pitch myself, so it's a little nice. But I'm here today. I'm the head of marketing and growth at Frisbi, just off of Prosper Show. If you were there, or if you stopped by, or if you don't know what Prosper Show is, it's a big ecosystem with, I would say there's 1,500 sellers or so, maybe less, maybe total people 2,000 or so that were there, sharing insights, data, analytics, hacks, whatever you want to call it, in order to grow their business moving forward. And this year, I was privy to get to speak on a panel with agency brand owners, as well as service provider, Frisbi, our COO, and also two people from Amazon, the global sales team. So we have a great connection with them, and they're always teaching us about what kind of services and offerings that they're helping with, helping sellers trying to get their business moving globally, right? So that's what Frisbi does. We help brands and businesses go from one marketplace and grow to multiple marketplaces around the world, not just Amazon, but outside the Amazon ecosystem. But this is the easiest by far and away a brand can take a business and move into, for example, just US to Canada or to Europe or UK or Singapore or Australia. I can name them on and on, but there is a global opportunity on Amazon, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Right now, there's 20 plus marketplaces which you as a seller can and should be selling on. Obviously, the newest one being in Belgium, which happened in 2022. There's more to be announced. There's rumors, quote unquote, insider secrets, I guess you could say, that there's ones coming to South America. South Africa has also been a target for Amazon to announce and to open up as a marketplace coming soon in 2023, 2024. So stay tuned that there's more opportunity on Amazon. So what does that mean as a seller? Well, obviously there's pros and cons to growing your brand globally. Since I have 10 minutes, I won't stick on each of these individual points, but obviously pros is a greener market where there's more eyeballs, there's more buying power. United States or .com is not the only place where there's buying power. There's incremental value on different marketplaces within Amazon worldwide, and that is continuing to grow as adoption of the marketplace grows in that marketplace. So obviously, with the pros comes cons. There's potential, your product might not fit for that local market. My product I'm selling in the United States might not be a great fit for Nick in Bulgaria, for example, or anything in that part of the world, or in South America, or Singapore, China. My product might not fit that ecosystem or that target demographic. So there is a pros and cons to going into different markets. You need to go where the right customer is, but there is a lot more buying power than just .com. When people think about growing their brand globally, one of these or multiple of these barriers or thoughts or concerns pop up into people's minds. One of these can deter someone from even just selling into a market like Canada, for example, something that's simple and straightforward. But one of these things, that's what we do as a company, is we help take down those barriers. We help people overcome those objectives. To be honest, it's more fruitful for brands who are taking on these different ideas and thoughts and overcoming these objectives. And then also taking their brand to another level, taking their brand from a 7-figure business or a 6-figure business, again, whatever's successful in your eyes, to make that available to different markets worldwide. That the opportunities are endless. I've seen brands that have gone into Europe and then they're picked up in retail in European outlet stores because they're at Amazon.uk, DE in Germany, whatever that looks like. There's global opportunity out there for your brand if you truly want to be a globalized brand. So adding Amazon to your game plan is really what we teach and I preach and wanted to talk to people about today, because according to statistics from Jungle Scout, their 2023 data, sellers have actually doubled from 25% to 50% of the 3,000 sellers that they surveyed, people who are looking for opportunities to grow their brands, their margins, to fight inflation, whatever that deterrent is right now. They're looking to grow into different markets, and that means different countries within Amazon and outside of Amazon. So there's a significant interest in growing within Amazon's ecosystems, not just on .com, but in different marketplaces. So a lot of what I want to tell people is kind of build up the basics. It's an intermediate level. This is probably for someone who's successful in .com, been selling for 1-2 years probably, and are ready to take that next level. So I would call it an intermediate level course or level of seller process. But this is for everyone to start planning and thinking about, because it's not just a switch. You can't just subscribe to a model like this and start selling tomorrow in these markets. So start to percolate, start to cultivate these thoughts and ideas. Who's ready for this step? When should you start? Obviously, start planning these things right away as soon as you're ready as a business. And how do you even begin? So a lot of these connections I'm going to be talking about today are both something that us as a service operate, where we have a lot of great partners like HelloTax. We have direct connections within Amazon's global sales team. It's free, and they're able to help you get up and running to sell on those marketplaces as well. But just a cool statistic I want to share from Amazon's internal team and their global sales team. If everyone knows what NARF is, or you should know, it's when you're a seller and you're selling a North American remote fulfillment program, which is my inventory is in the United States and I can sell in Canada, I can sell in Mexico. It's just distributed from US fulfillment centers. but I'm selling in those marketplaces. Even if I switched and started selling directly to Canada's fulfillment center, so my goods and inventory are in Canada instead of the United States going across the border, taking anywhere from 7 to 10 business days to be prime shipped to customers in Canada, there's actually a 4x lift in sales when they have inventory directly in the fulfillment center warehouses instead of fulfillment locally. That's a huge bump just initially putting inventory into a localized fulfillment center than just having it directly remotely fulfilled. So even if you take away something today, my note would be if you're just kind of dancing around, foot in the pool, trying to determine if the water's nice in Canada or Mexico, or even a pan-European program, you're just kind of dancing around there. These numbers don't lie when it comes to the lift because your product is actually locally available. It means your organic listings are going to rank higher because you can get your goods quicker. There's a lot of pros when it comes to your goods being natively within that market that you're selling to. So, but what's kind of the best market that you can enter in today? I just kind of want to walk through a couple different cool tools that not a lot of people are aware of. They're all free. They're all eco-friendly, to our wallets. So I just wanted to share these with people. It's a new free product opportunity explorer within Amazon. I actually started releasing globally on Amazon in October of 2022, but this is something that in Seller Central you should have availability in as well. Profit Opportunity Explorer, as you can see from the screenshot, it allows me as a US seller with a Seller Central account, and I have access to those countries. I can actually go and look at opportunities by category as well as ASIN level within those countries. So that as of when I took the screenshot, that was United States, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Spain, top markets within the United Kingdom as well as EU. And obviously the links are right there. They're just sellercentral.com/opportunity-explorer. And even Helium 10, shout out to Helium 10. They actually did a little really cool blog on it, just kind of a breakdown on what that looks like at the time of it. But this is something that you can look and see your keywords, if they're ranking on those marketplaces or not. A lot of people come to me and they say, hey, Ryan, can I sell my camping blanket in the United Kingdom? Well, I truly don't know because I don't know the data behind those analytics. So let's take a look at this opportunity. So this is what it looks like if I just search baby in the United Kingdom. You can start to see the customer needs, the top search terms, or search volume past 360 days, because doing a year search term would just be a little too ridiculous to get those 5 additional days. But you can start to look at search volume growth, search volume the past 90 days, so more recency volume, average units sold, average price of which they're selling in that local currency, which is another big key, and then price range of what they're selling goods as well. So you can see baby clothing, baby swimsuit, baby sun hat, baby socks. These are just natural things I search in baby in the United Kingdom at that time when I took the screenshot. But what's really cool about the Opportunity Explorer is that you can also, the biggest takeaway I was taking is your keywords. If you're number one, for example, I talked about camping blanket from a seller. His number one keyword search term is camping blanket in the United States. I searched that same term in .de and .uk. Wasn't even a search term, wasn't even available, wasn't even something that he should even pay attention, put ad money towards, even think about funding. I'm trying to think of all the people here, any sort of marketing towards that, because that's not a phrase that anyone in those markets search for. So kind of things like that, when you're entering a new market, you have to do the data, you have to do the research, and you need to know who your audience is. If they're not searching for that phrase, I need to know locally, localization wise, who's going to be searching for that term and how I should cultivate and talk to that audience. So there was things like camping gear or camping, or sleeping gear, but not camping blanket, which was something that, again, number one search term that he does really well in, doesn't exist in other countries internationally. So that was a really cool tip I wanted to share with people. And another thing to round out kind of my thoughts on, everyone's what's the easiest countries to enter in Amazon. We always tout there's timelines for everything because of getting up and running, product compliance, taxes, things of that sort. But based on product type, the easiest countries to enter via Amazon FBA are in the general category. If you have a product selling in the general categories, Japan, Singapore, UAE are the easiest to enter. There's no registrations needed to begin in terms of product compliance in those categories. Canada, United Kingdom, and EU are very easy as well. They're right behind those, but there's some forms that you have to fill out. In terms of health and beauty category, United Kingdom is the easiest to get up and running and start selling the quickest. In electronics category, United Kingdom is the easiest as well. On the flip side, the difficult countries to enter into Amazon FBA are Mexico and Saudi Arabia. Customs, actually, when people ask me, can I sell directly to Mexico or sell in Mexico? It's a very difficult ecosystem to sell in because you have to have an importer record and you have to have a physical entity in these countries. So it's very difficult in terms of Mexico. The best and easiest solution to sell in Brazil, in Mexico is NARF right now, unless you have a physical store in those countries and you can claim as an importer of record. You can't do that in Mexico, or you can't do it virtually on Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. So those are very difficult countries to sell in directly as a seller. In terms of medium setup time and difficult ones, or how quickly they can get started, let me make sure. How quickly can you get started in terms of products and selling into these markets, to give everyone kind of like a if you're ready or not ready. The shortest time frame to get going and selling in these markets is UAE, Singapore, and Japan. Japan's almost instantaneously you can start to sell in based on the general category of the likes. Medium setup times anywhere like 2 to 3 weeks to get set up and start selling. UK and Canada, not too terrible. And longest time frame actually is Germany. On average, it's taking 6 to 9 weeks to get set up, start selling, make sure you're translated and have your goods clear customs, and make sure everything product compliance wise is tied up in a bow. So those are to give everyone an idea of start to plan for the future. Even if you're thinking Germany in 2023, you might be looking at a whole quarter just to get set up in time. So things to talk about. I'm not sure if I can breeze through this or if I have time, but 5 mistakes that we see sellers make when entering these countries: not paying their taxes or not claiming their taxes instead of putting it on Amazon. So pay for it before you start to sell into those international countries, because Amazon will turn your goods right back around. You'll pay for shipping costs. It's a whole big mess. And having an importer of record, it's something you need to sell in international markets. Make sure that you can't sell without them. Having the wrong homogenized code. Nick will know this, tax wise. If you actually have the wrong commercial invoice and you have the wrong tax homogenized code, you might actually have an exemption versus paying a certain rate. And then also not planning for returns. It can be expensive. Believe it or not, in other markets, people return stuff. So you have to have a plan in place in order to sell to those markets. So that's and then obviously less than truckload and small parcel delivery. Amazon is actually shifting more towards small, more frequent shipments into their fulfillment centers versus big bulky items. There's a whole talk I would talk about this, but this is a mistake that people just don't think about when they're growing into their different marketplaces. So that's all I have today. I'm going to stop sharing. I think that was 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but
yeah. By the way, Ryan, this is probably one of the best presentations I've ever seen about expansion. So if you guys don't go and look on YouTube, if you want to expand on Amazon, just save Ryan presentation. And to be honest, what he told you, you guys, in regards to Europe, sometimes you need to wait even longer than that. So 6 weeks is probably a very
we're being generous.
Exactly, generous. But keep in mind, one thing that I think Ryan didn't mention is that this is like a stats that I got from one of my partners who specializes in expansion in Europe. Only 2% of Amazon sellers in the USA are selling on Amazon pan-EU. 2%. So 98% of your competitors are not doing that. So I don't think I need to give you any more motivation to start selling in Europe. It might be hard, but people are still not buying as much as they buy in the USA. The average percentage of the population who are actually using Amazon to buy online is 50%, 50. I'm from Bulgaria, but I keep on ordering stuff from Amazon Germany all the time, and I get it for like 2 to 3 days. So people are still not fully using Amazon. So it's early. In the USA, there's a population of 330 million, if I'm not mistaken, or 50. Europe, you have 450. So 100 million more clients. And something that probably you don't know, the highest average order value in the world is in Europe. So if you're selling like more like higher quality, more expensive products, no, this is the place to go. But right now, I mean, let's say you decide to expand in Europe. And what is the next step? I mean, if you set up your VAT, you're ready to go. So what is the next step? I mean, PPC, of course. So that's why I have Abe as the second, because you need to grow. People need to see what you're selling, because it doesn't matter how good you are, it needs time to pick up. And I'm not an expert in PPC, but and I'm sure Abe is going to tell us how the PPC can help you out to take advantage and actually show everybody what you're saying. So thank you for joining, Abe. And I'm glad to have you as speaker finally. So tell us more about you, what you do, and don't worry about the 10 minutes. I'm not going to kick out anybody if you go over the 10 minutes. So thanks again for joining.
Oh boy. Well, first of all, I appreciate that introduction. Ryan, you're lucky I can't ask questions, because my question was going to be, how long before Amazon expands to the Bikini Bottom marketplace?
It might be on their radar. You never know.
It's a big marketplace. There's millions of kids watching every day.
That's right.
So first of all, again, Nick, thank you for having me. I'll take a second to present my screen, and we'll try to make my little talk fit into the 10 minutes. I don't want to take away from everybody else's useful and valuable Amazon information.
Abe, I'm excited to see your presentation, man. You always bring it. So kudos to you.
I don't know. I'm always nervous. So we'll see what balances out this time. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Abe Chomali. I have a Amazon marketing company called XP Strategy, and I've been doing business online and offline for quite a while. I started selling in 1991, and we basically started out literally by running ads in magazines and taking phone calls from people before there was even an internet. We started selling in 1999. Even before there was Amazon, we had Yahoo stores, we had our own website. We were advertising on every marketplace, including eBay and all of the rest of the places where we could sell products. Of course, Amazon came along. We ramped that up for a while. And since 2018, I've had my own Amazon marketing agency. The shortest version of the story there is that I like that part of the business best. When it came to all the different pieces of the business, connecting with buyers, finding the ways to encourage them to make purchases, getting dissatisfaction as sales numbers grow with our efforts, that was always the part that resonated with me most. And I decided to lean into that. I work with several dozen sellers, about 50 sellers. And basically what we see whenever we start working with brands is something pretty straightforward. Essentially, what we see is that brands are not protecting their own properties. Almost always, no matter what size of account we're working with, whether it's a small seller doing a few $1,000s a month in business, or whether it's larger brands doing even up to millions of dollars in business, what we typically end up seeing is that either no brand protection is being run, or we see that people are not paying a lot of attention to taking care of their brands. And when I point this out to the brands that I start looking at, I usually get one of two responses, almost always. The first response that I get is, my brand is too small. This is something that I came up with myself. Really, nobody knows it, and it's not something that I have to worry about protecting. That's one reply that sellers and brands give to me when I ask the question, why aren't you protecting your brand? Second answer I get, which applies mostly to larger sellers and more established brands, is, listen, a shopper is typing my brand into the search result. They want my product. They're going to buy my product. Why do I need to run an ad and just spend more money? Well, I'm going to show you in the next few slides why that's actually an important thing, and why not taking care of your brands can lead to headaches down the line. So let's start off with an example of somebody who does things right. If you go to Amazon and you search for Garnier, they're the shampoo and skincare company. Anything that you search for that has to do with Garnier, you'll basically see that what they are doing is really making sure that nobody else has a chance to breathe. You'll see the top of the page has a headline search ad. You'll see that there are categories set up. You'll see the organic slots taken up by, of course, Garnier products. They really want to make sure that whatever you're looking for within their brand, you're going to be able to find it. This is the most perfect example of brand protection. They have decided to really, really take care of their brand, to reinforce it and not give anybody any space. Now, if we look at another example, we'll start to see a progression of people taking less and less care. So I did a search on Amazon for CeraVe. They make moisturizers as well. And this is a case where they are thinking the way that I described the second way, that, hey, somebody is looking for CeraVe. They're basically going to buy a CeraVe product. And what you see is what it looks like when people don't take care of their ads. So you'll see across the top of the page a Neutrogena ad. You'll see the first sponsor spot being taken up by Proactive, and you'll see some more ad spots here being taken up by completely random items, by eye masks and Aveeno and other products. Now, CeraVe still has their ad, they still have the organic spots, but you see here that literally almost half the products being shown are not the brand that people are looking for. And gradually over time, that leads to them losing shoppers that were interested in their product. There might be a time where a shopper can't find exactly the CeraVe product they wanted, and they become open to a different brand that has something similar. Here, if CeraVe had been taking care of the brand and blanketing the page, they would be in a situation where there is a different option, even if the thing that the shopper is looking for isn't immediately available. Now, what happens over time, as more and more people turn to alternatives, you can end up with a very extreme situation like this. I did a search for Legacy speakers. Legacy is a brand of fancy speakers. And what I saw was, like I said, the most extreme example. I have encountered this with other brands that I work with, but I didn't want to show any of those brand names. But here is a situation where a search for Legacy speakers does not result in any Legacy speaker results. The sponsored results across the top are not Legacy products, and all of the organic spots are all other brands and not even speakers in some cases. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And really, it illustrates the fact that you want to take care of your brand for searches. Now, searches are not the only place where you can bleed shoppers. Product pages, even with all of your images and all of your content, are also places where these loss of brand tied shoppers can happen. If we take a look at a couple of brand pages, you'll see something similar. Again, Garnier, if you're looking for their micellar water, you will see a page filled with Garnier products. The entire carousel of sponsored products is different versions of the water. They've got every single spot on the page really filled up with their products. Again, when you look for a Garnier product, you cannot help but buy one of their products. However, if we go to a different space with also a well-known brand, if we look at Illy Coffee, you will see exactly the opposite. Much of the page is filled with product that is not theirs. And in the space of coffee, where people are always interested in trying something a little bit different, something new, this turns into an issue. Consider a similar item, Kicking Horse Coffee, that is not made by Illy. Right below it, there's a Kimbro spot. Never even heard of Kimbo coffee, but you never know if it's going to resonate with somebody. We've got Lavazza. We've got Amazon's own brands here as well as others. There are a lot of opportunities for Illy to lose shoppers, and they definitely are. They might have a lot of product that they sell, and they might have 7,000 reviews, but there is a certain amount of shoppers that come to that product page and end up buying something else. Now, all of these examples are brands which are very large, of course, and I will make the assumption that most of the people participating or listening to the webinar today are maybe a little bit smaller than Garnier or Illy. So the first question you might ask is, does this even apply to me? Well, the short answer is yes. Once you get to the point where you're selling a few hundred units a month of a product, you will start to get branded searches. As you get your product in the hands of shoppers. There will be people who are ideally happy with your product, people who start to like your brand. And as long as it's not a brand with a whole bunch of random vowels in it, people will start searching for you. You'll start to have search volume. As soon as you start to have search volume, your competitors will notice you on their radar as a product which is moving up organic spots also, and they will start targeting you. They're going to start targeting your brand name, and they will also start targeting your product with product targeting ads. Now, when you run a product targeting ad, it doesn't just show up on the product page, but it also shows up in the spots where your products rank highest, which is a branded search. So all of a sudden, you'll have cases where people are intentionally targeting your brand, but even if they're not intentionally targeting your brand, if they are targeting your product, and if they're bidding high enough and you aren't bidding high enough, you will start to have a situation where you are 2, 3, 4 rows down the page because of all the ad spots being taken up by competitors. So unfortunately, like it or not, you do have to invest in taking care of the brand you've built. Now, there is a little bit of a good news there. The good news is that those ads typically will not cost you much to protect your brand. Even if you bid $5, $10, $15 a click to make sure you take up every spot, because your product is the most relevant for your own search, Amazon will not charge you the full amount you bid. Not only that, you are going to be the one that converts the best. For the same reason that people might not have wanted to advertise, that's also the reason why their ads convert the best. And those high conversion rates plus a lower CPC from Amazon lead to typically very, very low ACOSs. If you have enough volume, I've typically seen ACOSs of 3, 4, 6%, even with $15 and $20 bids. So you shouldn't be afraid of that advertising, and you shouldn't be afraid of the bids necessary to fill the carousel with your products. It's really as simple as that. What you should do is look at Amazon, search for your own products, and see what the product pages look like when you look for your products, and do the extra steps to capture the sales that you've invested in the first place. How am I doing on time? I think that's all I've got for the moment.
Don't worry. Now I told you you can go on. By the way, no, this is a very, very good topic. I'm just gonna add something here. I was selling in Europe for 10 years. I had like a very small budget in the beginning, like 5K, and we did 5 million in 4 years. One big mistake that we did, we never actually get trademark or copyright for our brand. So our best product, or actually the second best product, which was called Extreme Power, like the name of my agency right now, we built a landing page, product page in few markets, and then our biggest competitor steal everything and just called their product Extreme Gain, and we couldn't do anything about that. And
Wow.
so
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I can tell you even a little bit more upsetting of a story. I have a brand that when they first came to Amazon, they said, let's try Amazon. I don't want to invest in a trademark because maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not going to work. And at first they sold 50 units a month, which is 1 or 2 pieces a day. And they eventually got to the point where they were selling 10 or 20 or 30 pieces a day, which came out to be about 1,000 units a month. A year and a half in, they never still bothered to get a trademark because they were just making sales and they were happy with the results. Along comes a competitor. The competitor goes into the product, changes every single detail, including the brand. We opened up cases with Amazon, but it turned out that because this hijacker was brand registered, Amazon told us we're not changing it back because we actually consider it that this listing was always broken from day one because it was never brand registered. And now this hijacker came along and quote unquote fixed it. It took a lot of escalations and a whole bunch of months to get this resolved. But yes, take your brand really, really seriously. And if you have any idea that you're going to want to you're going to want to build up your brand over time, make the investment right from the beginning in taking care of your brand, which includes brand registry.
Okay, thanks, Abe. So obviously, this is very important because you might be small, but you might grow very quickly. So don't forget that, because if somebody sees the opportunity, they're gonna do it. I mean, they're not gonna doubt about that. So that's very important. So let's say now we're continuing our journey. Now you're growing your brand, you're protecting your brand. So what else? Once at certain point you've reached a level, you're doing a lot of sales, but you're running out of stock. Why? You don't have money. So what is the solution here? How can I get money and I can actually scale my business even further? But what if I tell you that I know a partner who by accident is here today, who is not going to be like a service provider, who's going to be your partner in the funding? So you win, they win. You don't win, they don't win. So I'm just giving like a short overview, but I'm going to have Don to introduce himself because we've done another webinar with him. What he's doing is impressive, but I'll let him introduce. He's a very cool guy, so we're going to have fun, and he's going to show you guys how we can make a lot of money, and he's going to give you some money at the end if you want. So
That's
thank
right.
you, Don. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Nick. These are always great. I'll tell you, listening to Ryan and Abe, and I know Seth well. I always learn things on these. It's really amazing to me. No matter how many webinars I listen to and watch, I'm always learning more stuff. And I've learned things from Ryan and Abe already today, and always love when I hear Seth. So thanks. This is great. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get a dig right in. Give me a second. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I named this, we have 10 minutes, right? So the idea is to get your points across quickly, not to go too deep, and not to use a lot of words, but let's have some fun along the way. So I named this Laughing All the Way to the Bank because we're going to have a little fun along the way. And, with AccrueMe, our model is set up so that our sellers can easily increase their ROI by 50%, very easily. And I'll show you that. All right, let's dig in. Today or this month is AccrueMe's 4-year anniversary. Just realize that. And we're ranked #1 on Seller Central for capital providers to sellers, which we're very, very proud about. And one of the things that I love is our very first client 4 years ago. I remember creating the contracts the night before. That very first client is still with us. Loves us, is still growing, and we love them as well. So that's just one. So let's have a little fun to start. When I was younger, one of the things that was pretty common was hitchhiking. I live in New York. I've hitchhiked to Ohio. I've hitchhiked from Ohio to New York. I went from New York to New Hampshire. We would always pick up other kids on the way to the beach and drop them off at their houses or at the beach and such. It was a lot of fun, but sometimes it gets a little uncomfortable. So this guy is driving along the road and he picks up a hitchhiker. And after about 5 minutes of uncomfortable silence, the hitchhiker says to the driver, he says, I appreciate you picking me up, but aren't you a little concerned that I'm a mass murderer? And the driver laughs, goes, what are the odds of 2 mass murderers being in the same car at the same time? Anyway, so hopefully you guys are laughing since I can't see your faces. But digging right in, this is, just a little bit about me. If you want to communicate with me easily on LinkedIn, I am one of those people that responds. So feel free. It's under my full name, Donald Henig. I enjoy that. So what did I do? I was basically an entrepreneur my whole career. I've created a financial planning company. I created mortgage companies, a real estate company, publishing company, entertainment, e-commerce, and then a bunch of other things in between. I've financed hundreds of billions of dollars of mortgages. That's a big number, hundreds of billions. We created hundreds of millions of dollars of profit, which is pretty exciting. In entertainment, started a company out of the blue. We created 8 feature-length movies. We produced 8 feature-length movies with the biggest name stars like Tom Cruise and Natalie Portman and Mark Ruffalo and all these people. It was a lot of fun. We also created and produced the Broadway show Rock of Ages, which ended up as the 30th longest running play of all time. Pretty cool. I decided to buy and sell houses at one point. So over 18 months, I bought and sold 300 houses, every one of them for a profit. But I stopped because I didn't enjoy it. And I built and sold multiple companies. I took 3 times off in my career. The first 2 were a year each. And at the end of the year, each time, I ended up getting excited about something else and starting a business and then growing that and selling that. This last time, I took 5 years off. And when you're in your mid to late 50s and take 5 years off of work every day, and you're just researching health stuff and fun things and travel and all of that kind of thing, all those kinds of things, you start to believe that you're actually retired. And I did believe that. And then my partner, at the time, we were not partners, we're just friends, taught me about Amazon and Amazon sellers. And I remember going to bed that night and learning about there were millions of Amazon sellers. And one thing I love is helping sellers or helping people grow businesses. I went to bed that night and something happened that hadn't happened in a long time. I had a dream that I was standing in front of thousands of people and helping them grow their businesses. I don't know what I was saying, but I was helping them. And, as you get older, you don't have those big dreams anymore. Well, all of a sudden, this excited me to that level. And so we started AccrueMe. And what we did was we looked at the industry and we looked at lending, and, it's been done for thousands of years. And we said, wait a minute, maybe it's not done right. And what we did was we actually sat down and said, let's sit down and, from the seller's point of view, what would be the best thing for them? And that's what we went after this for. And we created something that is fair, which in finance, if it looks fair, it's normally not. So I'll tell you a little bit about it as we continue along. Here we go. All right. So here's a question for you. And it's rhetorical, okay? Can you grow faster by taking money out of your business every month? So let's say you're earning a net profit of $10,000 a month. And you take $10,000 out every month to put gas in your boat, to go on vacation, to pay for your daughter's ballet lessons, whatever it might be. Will that business grow? It won't. In fact, it'll probably start receding a little bit and going down. So the idea is the only way to really grow is to have more capital in your business. Think about it. If you always have the same amount of money buying the same amount of inventory, you're not going to grow. You're just going to be, static. So you need more money coming in. And sometimes it's your own profits that stay in the business that causes the business to grow. To really, 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 jumpstart your growth, you need outside capital. But remember the question, can you take money? Can you grow faster by taking money out of your business each month? And you can't. When you leave your money in, your profits compound on profits, which that's the way you really grow. So let's continue along. Sometimes it is you. Did you ever think about that? So this old lady sends her husband out to do some grocery shopping, and she calls him in the car and she says, honey, are you coming home on the expressway? And he says, yeah, I am. And she says, they just reported on the news that there's one crazy guy going the wrong way. He goes, one, there's hundreds of them. Hoping you're all getting these. All right. So let's see. Something that you probably have never thought of. Most people don't understand this key thing about finance, this key concept. Monthly payments is not just money coming out of your business, but it actually equals lost profit. Let me give you the calculation. So it's just very simple. Your monthly payment times your monthly ROI is your lost profit. So let's say your ROI is 10% per month, okay? Fairly common in this industry. A lot of you are going to, tell me that your ROI is higher. That's great, but just leave it at 10%. And let's say you went to Amazon, you took out a $100,000 loan, and your monthly payments are $12,000. That means you would have had that $12,000 instead of taking it out of your business and sending it to Amazon or sending it to a lender. You would have left that $12,000 in your business. And your monthly ROI is 10%. You would have put that money to work. You would have bought inventory. You would have started new products, whatever it is. You would have earned 10%, $1,200 on that product, on that capital. You're not just losing the $1,200 that month. You're losing it that month and every month going forward. Think about it. You just took $12,000 out of your business permanently. Next month, what happens? You're taking another $12,000 out of your business. Now $24,000 is out of your business. You can't make money on it. Now you're losing $2,400 a month, that month and every month going forward. So the question is, taking money out of your business, even to send to a lender, is that good for your business? Something to think about. All right, so the universal rule of lending is very simple. With a loan, capital that goes into growth declines each and every month. It's like a stair step, right? So you start here, you take out a $100,000 loan. The next month you have, 86,000, and you have 74,000, and boom, boom, boom. Every month you have less money to grow. Every month. With success-based financing, which is what AccrueMe created, every month the money that you have going into growth increases. And I'm going to show you. So on this chart, you see the bottom line. They both start with $100,000, an infusion of capital. And on the bottom is a loan. Every month, you have money coming out of your business until you're down to zero, and then you refinance, and you get another infusion of capital. With success-based, it grows each month. You have more money in the business. And why would that be? Why would there be more money in the business? Well, I'm going to tell you right here. I'll give you, well, I'm going to step back for a second. So the key to that is that we don't charge monthly payments. We don't require monthly payments. That's pretty unusual. I mentioned that first client of ours. They didn't make a single payment to us until 19 months after we started, because they were growing their business. They had opportunities to grow. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit more in a minute. Okay, so what do we get out of it? I'm going to show you what you get out of it, but what do we get out of it? We get a temporary profit share. So only for as long as you use our money. That's it. And how does it work? At a high level, you tell me if this is fair. You keep all the profits on your money, okay? You would have earned them anyway, you keep them. And then we split the profits that you earn from our money. How's that? Pretty fair. It's hard to get much more fair than that. So what else do we do here? All right, so there is no interest, there's no fees. We got rid of fees early on because we didn't want anything to be hidden. There's no term. So you use the money as long or short as you want. You don't like it in 3 months or 6 months, pay it back. End of story. You don't have to give us notice. There's no prepayment penalty, none of that garbage. We did this from sitting on the side of the table as a seller. So no interest, no fees, no term, no required payments. And that's really the key to growth. You want to grow your business? Keep the money in your business. That's the bottom line. So we enable you to do that. And when will you pay us? You end up paying us when you're slow and you're flush with cash. It makes sense to make a payment then, but not when you're in, like, let's say Q3 and Q4 and you're growing your business, or any time of year when you have opportunities to grow. It's literally a bad thing for your business to take money out and send it to us or anybody else. There's no personal guarantee and there's no loss of ownership. We don't own any of your company. We invest in your company, but we don't take ownership. Does that sound like an interesting plan? And you could see we sat on the side of the seller when we put this together. So in summary, some things to remember. Can you grow faster by taking money out or leaving it in your business? It's rhetorical, obvious. Is taking money out of your business good for your business, even to pay a lender? The answer is no. Taking money out of your business doesn't make sense if you have opportunities to grow. And AccrueMe, no interest, no fees, no payments. That's the big thing. No term, no personal guarantee, no loss of equity. What we look at is we like to combine your knowledge and your hard work with our money and our model. That's a true win-win, and that's how you grow a business. So to finish up, this old man applies for a job. And the hiring manager is just taken by this man. And she says to him, in all my years of being a hiring manager, I've never seen a better candidate. You're the best that I've ever come across. I can't find anything wrong with you. And she says, can you just tell me one thing that would be a negative, one thing that's wrong? And he says, I don't know. I could be too honest. And she laughs. I don't think honesty is a negative. He goes, I don't give a shit what you think. I saw Nick laughing. That's good. All right. So remember, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, my full name, Donald Henig, or go straight to AccrueMe.com and click Get a Funding Offer. It's a 2 to 3 minute application. We don't ask any personal questions like social security number or date of birth or anything like that. We're just looking at your inventory. That's what we care about. And with Hello Tax and Nick, you're going to get a free 30-day trial, which in finance, you never get that. That is, it's free money for 30 days. It costs us money to do it, but that's what we're giving you. Give you an opportunity to check us out. And trust me, nobody leaves. Again, we're #1 capital provider on Seller Central, and we're very proud of that. Thanks, Nick. This is always great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Don. And no, here is the formula. You get the money from Don. Ryan and me were gonna help you to expand. Abe is gonna do it on the PPC front, and then Seth, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I might know it. So he's gonna tell you what you do once you're full of cash and you don't know what to do next. But of course, you have another option. You take the money, you get your girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, whatever, you go on vacation in Europe. So Europe is the place to go. But let's have Seth to give us some insights to what they're doing. Some of them might know what they do, some they don't. But I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and he's gonna talk about something that very few companies are doing. And I know for a fact because in partnerships, emails and email lists are gold. A lot of companies are not using that, but I'll let him introduce himself and tell us more about what they do and what they're planning. So thank you, Seth.
Yeah, Nick, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you guys. Nick, I have a presentation here that's a little different than usual. Let me share what I have going on here. Well, one second. It's lost my panel. I won't be able to see. Just get this playing here. Can't see you guys right now. So I'm just going to hang out in the background. So Nick, I know that we were going to talk about emails a little bit, which we are, but I have a strategy that I think everyone's going to really, really enjoy. The plan originally was to have Sean, my business partner, give this talk, but he actually spent a little too much time in the UK giving another talk. So I'm going to go through one of the strategies that's made us a ton of money called creative cloning. So Nick, can you see my screen okay?
You can see it.
Okay, great. So guys, I'm going to be talking about how to double your Amazon sales in the next 30 days without adding any additional costs. I'm going to try to hustle through this. So here's a little background on me. So I began my career in direct response advertising. You probably don't meet many people from that field. We then use those skills to scale our Amazon business from 0 to over $1 million per month really, really fast. And we're going to get into that. We've launched more than 1,000 private label products, created more than 53, or we've created exactly 53 unique brands, and we've sold many of those businesses. So the most profitable activity is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. I'm going to be sharing the 3 core pillars of the success that we've had to get from 0 to over $1 million per month on Amazon in less than 18 months. So what I am sharing with you is the most profitable strategy that allowed us to grow faster than our competition. This is not something that you'll see in a course because we accidentally figured this out. What I'm going to share with you will fundamentally shift how you build listings and scale on Amazon. And it's the simplest, or actually, let me ask you this question. What's the simplest and most profitable way to double your sales on Amazon? That's what I'm going to be telling you. And yes, I'm talking about double, and I'm going to show you some examples from our business. It's this process that I call creative cloning. Now, creative cloning is what the biggest physical products brands in the world use to grow their sales. We figured out how to use this strategy on Amazon that the biggest brands in the world have been using in retail for decades. We've simply applied it to the Amazon private label business. What I'm walking you through today is one of the most profitable activities that you can do on Amazon. It has created more sales for us than almost any other strategy. And the crazy part is you've probably never seen anything like this. This simple strategy has taken a $30,000 per month product and turned it into a $300,000 per month cash cow in only 8 months for us. We've applied this strategy to 53 of our own brands, and we've shared this with a handful of strategies, and they've all been working really, really well. We've been using this exact process to dramatically increase our sales since 2014 on more than 1,000 Amazon private label products. And the only reason I'm telling you all that is because it's worked 100% of the time that we've applied it. And we have used this to 10x our sales. And I'm going to show you the example many, many, many times. So look at this. Look at our month over month growth that we used this strategy for. So you can see in January, when we started our business in 2014, we were at $35,000 per month in sales. And you fast forward a little bit, and you can see our very first $1 million month, and then we kept scaling. So it is real, and I bet you've never seen anything like it. It will work in any category, and it really is that good. Let me give you an example. This is typical for most sellers out there. You do a bunch of product research, you find a manufacturer, you design beautiful packaging, you perform extensive keyword research, right? And then you build an amazing Amazon listing. And then it starts selling well. You've discovered an opportunity that is profitable, and all of your hard work is paying off. And this doesn't happen every time you launch a new product, though, does it? Sometimes products don't sell. Sometimes products sell well, but they're unprofitable. But when the stars align and you have the right product at the right time with the right listing, Amazon truly is amazing. Here's where sellers make a huge mistake, though. What do you do once you have a successful product on Amazon? You start the process all over again, looking for a new product that might be a winner for you. You hope and pray with your fingers crossed that you'll strike gold again. But this is wrong. This is where everybody messes up. What should you do instead? Clone your success. Pay close attention, because when you get this right, you will make a lot more money. So let me ask you this. To create the most highly optimized listing, where should you start? You start with your offer. Specifically, you want to make what we call a mafia offer. If you've read my book, Private Label Millionaire Secrets, then you know we spend a lot of time talking about how to create a mafia offer, because it's very, very important. And here's a mafia offer listing hack. Here's what we go through mentally when we're building our listing. M, make it obvious. What are we selling? What is the benefit of what we're selling? A, we want to add all those search terms. F, focus on one avatar, the who behind who's actually buying our product. I, we want to include the best benefits, right? And then A, we like to use alliteration because it sticks in the customer's mind more. Alliteration is, repeating similar sounds. So let's talk about a mafia offer here. A mafia offer is an offer that your customer simply cannot refuse. It has to be an overwhelming amount of value compared to the money that they're giving you. It must speak to one particular customer avatar that truly understands the value. This means the offer is designed to talk specifically to only one customer type. And I'm going to show you some examples. So what's the problem with this? Amazon has most sellers confused. Most sellers believe that one listing has to serve all customers. But let me ask you a question. If you were invited to a workshop for e-commerce sellers, would you be here right now? Well, maybe, even if the rest of this workshop or offer was exactly the same, but it was for e-commerce sellers, you might not be here. You would view this workshop as not nearly as valuable, because making this workshop for e-commerce sellers is too broad. It's not nearly as compelling to you as an Amazon seller, is it? And this is the exact problem that most listings on Amazon face. They are trying to speak to everyone with the exact same language. Let me show you how you can use this to 10x your Amazon sales. So did you realize that you, as the brand owner, can clone your listings and have the listing speak directly to one particular customer at a time? We call this process creative cloning, like I already said. And I'm going to show you how you can clone your listings using the exact same inventory that you already have to make a lot more sales, all within the same brand. You want to narrow your market to a sub niche, and you will earn a lot more profit because you can usually charge a lot more and have a lot less competition. Think about how brands that sell marine grade products for boaters usually charge 2 to 3 times more than the exact same products. Here's how this works. When you apply this concept to your private label business, you will make more money because you would only need to present your offer to those that are most likely to convert. And if you only target those most likely to convert, then you'll be able to charge more, increase your conversions, spend less on advertising, and make a lot more profit. Never forget that you're not in the business to make sales. You're in the business to make profit. Here's a great quote that we always talk about. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. This will allow you to create a mafia offer targeting your specific sub niche with perfect messaging targeted to attract your ideal customers. Let's look at Tylenol as an example. So if you go to Tylenol's website or other websites offering Tylenol, you can see that Tylenol has been using creative cloning for a long time. They are positioning their product to appeal to different types of customers with their language and their messaging. You can see on the first one that we have Tylenol Extra Strength. And then in the middle, we have Tylenol Rapid Release. And then we have Tylenol Extra Strength for headache, right? But if you look at the ingredients, Tylenol is exactly the same. It's 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. Now, that's a massive, massive realization. Their product is exactly the same, but Tylenol gets to take up more shelf space, or in our case, search term results space. And then they get to better serve their customers by calling out specific customers with each positioning, right? Does this make sense? Each one of Tylenol's product talks to one type of customer that's looking to solve a problem in their life, but the actual product itself is the same. You should identify exactly who you should be speaking to and the language patterns that you should be using to appeal to them. You should always look to see if there's a sub niche where you can narrow your focus and more specifically target a single type of customer. When you walk into a drugstore with a migraine headache, you might buy Tylenol migraine, right? Because it's speaking directly to you. But now you know that most Tylenol products are exactly the same, whether they are marketed for migraines or not. Tylenol has cloned their success and added to their store shelf space to capture more market share with unique packaging and product positioning. And that's exactly what we do on Amazon. Look at the ingredients, right? It's the same product. It's the same. This is what we're doing on Amazon. Our packaging, though, is just our Amazon listing. Think about all the different types of customers as an example you could target with a razor. It could be for men or women or legs or underarm or face. Each one of those uses creates more sales if you had a specific listing attracting customers that are looking for your specific solution. And here's a real life example of how you could make 15 times more money by niching down the same product. When we first discovered this trick, it changed everything for us. We launched and sold memory foam pillows back in 2014. And when we were selling our quote unquote normal memory foam pillow, without any targeting and without narrowing down to a specific sub niche, we could get normal bed pillow prices, which was for us about $19, right? So our normal bed pillow sold for about $20, and that's as much as we could get for it. So when our pillow listing targeted a more specific buyer, though, we could increase the price. And so we did. And the results were remarkable. Let's continue on our niching down journey to rename the product to Shredded Memory Foam Pillow for Stomach and Back Sleepers. And if you look at Amazon, you can see that there are some listings that are targeted to this specific sub niche. They are targeting customers that have a specific need, which is I sleep on my stomach or I sleep on my back and I need a pillow for that instance, right? And when you niche down, you can charge more. In this case, that's double the price. We're able to charge $40 instead of $20. And what about if we know that a chronic snorer or side sleeper would perceive more value out of this product, right? So like I said, we're able to charge double. We're already at 2 times the price, but we can do even better. So imagine if you are suffering from terrible neck or shoulder pain, and we offered you a hypoallergenic bamboo-covered shredded memory foam pillow designed for shoulder and neck pain relief. And now you can see if you go to Amazon and you type that in, you'll find a product that sells for over $100. Would it be possible that would you consider paying $100 for a pillow, which is 5 times more than our standard bed pillow? You most likely would, because we've spoken directly to your specific sub-niche pain. So our product has a much higher perceived value versus a regular bed pillow and becomes your obvious choice. Are you sold yet? Well, just for a dramatic demonstration here, let's say you just had surgery and your doctor instructed you to buy a medical grade hypoallergenic adjustable shredded memory foam pillow designed for post-surgery support. You would eagerly fork over the $180 to get that pillow, wouldn't you? Your doctor told you to get it. And when you go to Amazon and you look, there is a pillow for post-surgery support for $180. So simply changing who you are targeting with your product can dramatically change what you can charge. This is literally a page out of our book where we go through this example, right? Here's the idea. You want to leverage the experience that you already have from your existing successful listings on Amazon to clone your success, grab more exposure on page 1 search results, command more traffic from Amazon buyers, capture more sales. Usually you can double your sales on the first try, and then repeat this process until you've dominated a category. You already know that you're only capturing a small percentage of the market for your product. Your competitors are getting the rest, right? When you implement this correctly, you can capture the lion's share of all the sales in your category. We've been doing this since 2014 with massive success. This idea is easy for me to teach you, but hard for you to learn because it sounds so simple. So please pay attention and try to grasp this the first time. With this simple but powerful strategy, all you're really doing is repositioning some of your same product to appeal to a unique segment of your market. Let's say your type of product is producing 1,000 sales per day on Amazon across all sellers, all brands, all listings. Your listing is capturing just 100 of these total orders, or 10%. If you had another successful listing that could also grab another 100 orders per day, then your sales would double, right? Well, that is exactly right. And we've repeated this process up to 10 times with similar results. Other listings are grabbing those other 900 orders. So why aren't you? You have power as a private label brand owner. You have the power. You decide what is a new product simply by relabeling with a different UPC. Think about this. Amazon doesn't question Nike when they release a new shoe. They just scan the inventory into a new listing, right? The Amazon warehouse isn't opening up the boxes and saying, oh, this brand new shoe from Nike looks like the old Air Force One. This isn't right. No, what they do is they say, oh, Nike released a new product. They've got a new UPC barcode on here. Let me just go ahead and scan that into the next listing. Let me show you a quick hack for finding sub niches on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you type in any product and then you type in the word for and you put a space like this, crayons for, and then you see all these ideas of product listings you could create if you're selling crayons, crayons for toddlers, age 1, crayons for kids, age 2 to 4. This is what people are searching for. But what about this one? Pillows for space, pillows for neck pain, pillow for couch, pillow for side sleeper, pillow for sleeping, pillow for bed, right? You can make listings for all of these. Pizza cutter for nonstick pans, kids, fork, arthritis, so many different things. Lamp for living room, bed, desk. Vitamin C for kids, face, dog, guinea pigs, right? Supplements for dogs, women, anxiety, leg cramps, so many different possibilities here. Hairbrush for men, curly hair, thick hair, right? All of these different subcategories you can make clone listings for. So let's focus in on this one for dog leashes. Dog leash for large dogs. So let's sub niche down even further. You can take a look at the niche that you discovered on Amazon and then drill down into a even deeper and often more profitable sub niche category by searching on Google. You can go to Google and you can see that there are 45 easily targetable large dog breeds that we already found on Google within a few seconds. Let's say that you're selling dog leashes and things are going well. Your listing is ranked for dog leash, but what if your customer is searching for a dog leash for her German Shepherd? Which one will she buy? This dog leash for $10 or this dog leash for $15.99? That's obviously a good fit for her German Shepherd. The latter speaks specifically to the shopper and eliminates the need for further research. She can just be lazy and assume that what you have to offer is what she needs and purchase your dog leash that's going to work well for her dog. You want to capture more shelf space, just like Tylenol does with positioning. So you could have another listing for Yorkshire Terrier dog leashes. You could have another for Collie dog leashes, another for Pit Bull dog leashes, another for Golden Retriever dog leashes, another for Black Labs. And you can go and look on Google and come up with other dog breeds. But imagine if your customer's scrolling through Amazon and they have a Pit Bull and you're the only listing on the page that says dog leash for Pit Bull, and you're the only listing on the page that has a picture of their dog in the picture. You can imagine how much better your click-through and conversion is going to be. And you can charge more, right? So you can have a dog leash listing for all of the breeds, which is just one example of how to niche down. You can see that some of these guys are doing it, but they're not doing it specifically enough. And so here's why this works. You can speak directly to one customer at a time, which allows you to charge more, convert higher, rank better, make more profit, and take up more Amazon real estate, also known as page space when customers are scrolling through search. And we can even make this more powerful. We can clone any already successful listing with slight repositioning. Rank for the exact same keywords that you're already ranking for. For an example, we had 8 of our listings on page 1 for bamboo pillow. When we launched our bamboo pillow business, we quickly got to about $30,000 per month, but then our sales stalled. This is how our business looked. We would sell the bamboo pillow targeting everyone, but we wanted to grow, and we tried all of the common growth approaches. We tried spending more on sponsored ads. We tried rebate campaigns. We tried split testing our copy and our images, but we were stuck at about $30,000 per month. Have you ever felt like this? It was miserable. Here's what our business looked like after creative cloning. We then made a second listing for side sleepers, had another listing, right? We had a second listing for back sleepers, a third listing for stomach sleepers. And then we started niching down and cloning in all of those clones. So our business ended up with way more listings, specifically targeting individual customers as we went. So this process took our sales from $30,000 per month to over $300,000 per month. And this is the only thing we did was cloning. And then we sold that business. So we 10x'd our sales, and all we had to do was simply resticker some of the inventory that we already had with a new UPC barcode. We changed our images, our title, our bullets, and description slightly to speak more directly to customers drawn to certain language patterns or sleeping styles in each of our cloned listings. This was easy because we had the exact same inventory that we already had on hand. We knew all of the best keywords because we had been running PPC campaigns. We targeted the same keywords with our listings. This was all within the same brand. And why does this work so well? This is like shooting with a rifle versus a shotgun, allowing you to target buyers with laser accuracy. We've used this on numerous products, not just the pillow. The pillow is just easy to explain because every position in Amazon search results is worth a percentage of the sales for that niche. For our pillow business, we had 8 listings on page 1 for the search term bamboo pillow. So if you went to Amazon and you typed in bamboo pillow in 2014, 2015, 2016, we had 8 of those listings were ours with different images, so it looked different, but a customer had 8 chances to click on our listing. You can only capture so much market share by having one listing in a niche. As you add different listings that position the product differently, you'll capture more of the search results page, and therefore you'll end up making a lot more sales. Is this against TOS, which is the first question everyone asks? And it's not. It's completely within TOS because you're the brand owner. As the brand owner, you get to decide what is a different product simply by assigning a new product UPC. Look at the 2 different shoes in my example from Nike, right? The shoes look very, very similar, but Nike decides that they're actually different. So they put a new barcode on it. And look, they charge a lot more too. Amazon is not opening up the boxes to our products and trying to determine if they're too similar. They don't care because you're the brand owner. So you get to decide. They simply recognize it as a new product because it was assigned a new UPC from the brand. This is what you can apply to your business. Will I be competing with myself is the second question everybody asks. No, not really in the way that you think. Competing with yourself is not what you're worried about. Your competition is already competing with you every single day. Why not hold an extra position and compete with yourself, but capture a lot more sales? Nike knows that taking up more shelf space in a shoe store is going to net them more sales, even though the shoes look very similar. Tylenol knows that the more options that they have on the shelf, the more chances to grab a buyer's attention for a specific need. Most Amazon sellers completely miss this opportunity, even though it is one of the biggest opportunities that's sitting in front of you right now. Think about this. You've already done all of the product research. You already have a supplier. You already have done your keyword analysis. You already have photos. You already have packaging. You already know how to launch this product because you've already done it. All you need to do is copy what you already know and double your business. So here's your action list. Decide which product you want to try this on first. Find out who is buying your product and why. Identify at least 5 sub-niche targets for your product. Let's say you're selling crayons. Crayons for preschool teachers, crayons for stay-at-home moms, crayons for daycare operators, crayons for restaurant kid menus, crayons for, you saw all those options, right? So you want to identify 5 opportunities to niche down and then create duplicated listings targeting each of your sub-niches. And then you want to write your listings in a language and tone that makes sense for that avatar. And call them out specifically inside of your listing title, like we talked about with the German Shepherd dog owner. Speak to his or her needs or interest in your description. Show his or her problem solved in your images. And then all you need to do is resticker your inventory. You're going to use the Amazon search autofill hack that I showed you earlier. Scroll down your listings and you can see the buy it with section for more ideas. You can ask your customer what other purchases they've made in your niche as part of a brand awareness campaign if you have a customer email list. You can even post on social channels and asking for new product ideas for your brand. Research your target market for trends on Google and follow other similar brands to see what they're doing, just like we studied Tylenol. The second step here is to create those duplicated listings targeting your sub-niches. Create listings one by one that speak to a particular sub-niche and optimize accordingly. Be sure to change the images, titles, descriptions to be congruent with your product's positioning. And remember, you are selling the exact same product, but with a different position in the market, like marine grade or industrial or restaurant quality or kid friendly, right? Senior friendly, travel safe, and the list goes on and on. You have to speak directly to your specific customer. And then you want to write in a language and a tone that makes sense for that avatar. Remember, you have to speak differently so they feel more understood. Like a housewife versus a young mother are going to respond to different language patterns. You'll want to adopt any nomenclature that is relevant to that niche. Try to answer the questions that they're already asking themselves in their minds as they're scrolling through search. Like, I wonder if this is dishwasher safe, right? Go ahead and answer that. Call them out specifically inside your listing title. Speak to them specifically. Instead of just saying, hey, you, what if I said to you, hey, you, Nick Penev? Boom, I have your attention, right? Much different. Hey, you, Don Henig, got your attention, right? Quit scrolling. I'm just okay. So if your name was Don Henig or Nick Penev, you'd listen up. Like kids safe, you name it, great for young moms. That really gets my attention. Or senior friendly mobile phone. If I'm a senior looking for a mobile phone, I know you've got my product. German Shepherd dog leash, perfect for, small owners, right? Get creative and split test this. Step number 5, speak to his or her specific need or interest in your description. Dog leash works perfect for a German Shepherd. Diabetic friendly socks with no seams. These are specific things that specific customers would be looking for. A Chicago style pizza cutter. Boater's dream come true, migraine, marine grade beanbag chair. Too many Tylenol examples. All right. Number 6, show his or her problem solved in your images. Your image should answer the question that the prospect is asking himself while he scrolls through search. Show your product being used by someone who looks just like your perfect avatar. If you're selling a product for young mothers, you want to show a young mother in the product images. There you go. Show the mariner sitting in a beanbag chair on his yacht. You get the idea here. Lastly, we want to resticker the inventory. You'll simply resticker or have your third-party logistics company resticker your existing inventory with a new UPC barcode over the existing barcode, not a problem. And then you're going to send it into Amazon FBA. You cannot have Amazon resticker it because they will get confused and just check the inventory into the old listing. So you have to have this done outside of Amazon. And then here's number 8 for extra credit. Clone your already optimized successful listing like we did on the pillows. So if you have a product that you've already launched recently and it's going well, then the easiest way to apply the strategy is to clone exactly what you did the first time, but with a slightly different positioning. You can target all of the same keywords just like we did with Bamboo Pillow and take advantage of the gap in the market that you've discovered. Follow that model that we shared earlier with the Bamboo Pillow model. So when should you not clone? When you don't like the result that you're getting. People ask this all the time. The answer is so simple though. Don't create more of a bad situation. Like if your product is already in a category that's too competitive, or if you have low profit margins, or if it's hard to rank, you don't want to create more of that for yourself. You don't want to create more headache. You only want to create more of something that is already working well. The only thing worse than working in the wrong direction is working in the wrong direction enthusiastically, right? So don't make your situation worse by cloning more of something that's bad. Now, this is only one of the 4 strategies that we use to hit over $1 million per month within 18 months of starting our Amazon business. So if you've been enjoying this, my partner, Sean, who you see flexing here with his tiny little arms, is going to be sharing the other 3 strategies in an upcoming webinar. And we don't share these publicly. We're going to be doing a private webinar. And in fact, we're not going to have this invitation in the replay. So I'm requesting that these few slides be removed from this recording. So if you have your phone, it'll make it really easy on you. So if you get your phone out now, I'm going to show you a QR code where you can jump in. Basically, we have a private invitation only Zoom call already planned. It's going to be in a couple days. And since you're here at this event with Nick, I want to give you exclusive access. It's going to be a 60-minute deep dive into the 3 other strategies that will fundamentally change the way that you think about your business and actually do your business on Amazon. And you can easily and quickly deploy what makes sense for you and just leave the rest. You and only you, I want to stress that, are invited. So please, please, please do not share this link. We're only making this available because Nick is one of our good friends, and this will not be in the recording. All right. Sean's pointing at you there. We have this private Zoom expose coming up. All right. So this is, like I said, Sean was set to present this. So if you go to seanstopsecrets.com, it'll redirect you to Zoom. We're doing this in a couple days. It's going to be live. This is the only time we're going to do this. You can see a walkthrough of those other 3 strategies, and go ahead and get registered now because you will not have this opportunity later. We're going to go ahead and send you a copy. I alluded to it earlier, the Private Label Millionaire Secrets book. We're going to send you a copy of that book for free. And we have another book called How I Sold an Additional $62,730,000 on Amazon. We're going to send you that book too. And we're basically going to spend 60 minutes walking you through those other 3 strategies. We've basically documented the journey of building 53 private label brands, creating millions in profits, and even more in exit payouts. So guys, I'm going to stop right there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them and I can answer them. But as far as the presentation goes, Nick, that's all we have.
Okay. That was short and sweet.
I tried to hustle through it for you.
Yeah, no worries. But no, if I knew what we were going to talk about, I would have done my session first, because who's gonna care about European taxes after what you just mentioned? But what you just said is very good, because what you guys have been pitching right now, this is something that I did with my own brand, because I had 20 supplement brands. I was cloning my brands and I was competing with my own brands. So some clients who are not buying one brand, they were buying the other brands for advertising. So it's not exactly what you're doing. It was not on Amazon, but I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And like you said, no, profit is the most important thing. Sales, nobody care about how much you're selling if you don't have profit, because you might have like 10 billions of sales. If you don't have profit, your wife cannot spend anything. So, and if your wife is not happy, it doesn't care about your sales on Amazon. So anyways, guys, let me give you like a quick rundown about Europe, because what you've heard from Abe, from Don is not offering his service in Europe right now, but anybody who is based in Europe and they're planning to go in the USA, they can take advantage of that. But what Ryan is doing, it's actually very similar to what we're doing. The only thing is that HelloTax just provides the VAT compliance and my agency provides the partnership. So what we do is we help you to expand anywhere around the world, and 4 of the partners are here because if you don't know what to do, you're not gonna go anywhere. So doing the webinars and all this stuff is gonna help you out. But let me talk about Europe and what we do at HelloTax, so we can go to the Q&A session. Okay, so I'm gonna be as quick as possible because we have a lot of questions and I would like to go over them. So in regards to Europe, I'm gonna give us a few stats. I mentioned one very important earlier. If you're selling in the USA, remember that 98% of your competitors are not doing that. So it's very early, we have 450 million clients, and if you're not selling in Europe, you haven't sold to any of those. Amazon Europe has like more unique views than the USA, and there's less sellers. So 1.1 million sellers are in Europe compared to 2.5 in the US. So we have less competition. So all the strategies that Seth was talking about, Ryan mentioned earlier, and if you can apply them easier because your competitors are not here yet. You're gonna sell to a whole new continent, 50 new countries, and a lot of people don't know, but it's not that hard, If, like I said, if your competitors are not doing that, you'll be the first one. When you're the first one, it's much easier. Selling to a whole new continent, a whole new big market, you can buy more from your manufacturer suppliers, meaning that you can reduce the cost for your supplier. So what you need to know, first thing, which Ryan mentioned earlier, having the right product. Because if you don't have product, you cannot sell anything. You don't need Frisbi, you don't need Domino, you don't need HP strategy, you don't need post-purchase pro. So having the right product is the first thing. There's a lot of great tools like Zone Guru, Helium10, and others. You can do your research. So do your research, see what works. You might find a lot of opportunities in Europe. So once you have your product, there is a few things that you need to check out first. The first thing is the product compliance. You need to check if you need to get certification for your product. We have partners who can help you with that. The second thing that you need to do is VAT. You can go to Amazon, they're gonna tell you, okay, it's free, it's not free. Nothing is free. And taxes, you need to have somebody who knows exactly what you're doing. So get your VAT. It will take 2 to 3 months on average. So until you're waiting for that, you can actually import your stock. We have partners who can help with the customs, with the logistics, and the FBA prep. And the last part that you need to do is the culture and language barrier, which is the translation localization. So all the strategies that Seth mentioned, you can apply them in Europe as well, but you need to have somebody who knows the language and they need to be native. Otherwise, no, it would not work. So all these things are very important. Having the product, custom product compliance, VAT, customs, logistics, and in some markets, fiscal representation. But I'm going to talk further down the presentation how we can avoid doing the fiscal representation if you go to specific markets. So what problem are we solving at HelloTax? Just as simple as possible, we do VAT compliance. If you want to sell on Amazon in Europe, you need VAT. If without VAT, you cannot sell. I've been selling for 10 years across Europe. I had 20 different supplement brands, which I sold 3 years ago. I know from experience, if you don't file or be compliant, you'll get in trouble, you'll get penalized. So don't do that. You cannot even start selling on Amazon. So that's what HelloTax does. The founders are actually ex-Amazon sellers. Their names are Christian and Crystal. They used to sell on Amazon, and that's how they got the idea about HelloTax. I was a client of HelloTax as well, and this is how I ended up with them after I sold my business. So I know from experience how and what we're helping. We have 2,000 paid clients, 15,000 subscribers, and a partner network of over 500 companies. So if you want to expand in Europe, we know everybody, and we can help you out with that. The next thing, what you need to know about Europe. You need to know your VAT liability, taxes from the past, the present. If you don't know, that's not an excuse. It's your responsibility. You need to register for VAT in 1 or more markets. You need to have complete view of your the movements of your stock across the different countries. And the last thing is complete visibility across all your sales channels. So this is something that you need to do by yourself, but this is what HelloTax does for you. So Another question: where should I start in Europe? No, I went to Amazon, Nick, and Amazon told me, okay, you should do the pan-EU. Okay, don't listen to Amazon. Amazon makes money from the fees. They need revenue. That's not a smart choice. Start with the market. Poland is probably one of the easiest ones, but it's not it's not the biggest market in Europe. So Germany, even though it don't get the VTs quickly as in some other markets, this is the biggest market. So we always recommend Germany. Spain, avoid it like the plague unless you want to go on vacation, because they would like not retranslation originally and all this kind of stuff. So unless you're coming from the LATAM, we don't recommend to go into Spain. So as simple as that. Germany should be your first priority. I'm gonna give you a little more tips on why this is the case. So why the hell do I need VAT? As simple as possible, because Amazon is not gonna allow you to sell there. But let's say you would like to know why you need VAT. So before July 2021, you need to register for VAT once you hit the threshold in a specific market. So it was 40K in Euro, 100K in Germany. Don't worry about that. This is not valid anymore. With the implementation of the so-called OSS, once you hit 10,000K, you can register for VAT and OSS in one market, and you can sell across the whole European Union. And the better news is right now, if you sell on Amazon, if you're a non-EU company, you don't need to bother for the OSS, because Amazon is gonna use their own OSS. So you just need one VAT. The second reason why you need VAT, if you hold storage, if you hold your stock in more than one markets, you need to have VAT in each market where you're holding stock. But this is always the things that we recommend to do as a second step. Start with one storage location, one VAT, and then multiply. And then just clone your success, like Seth is saying earlier. You know, what you're doing in one market, you can expand it eventually. But the smart way is just to start with one, less bureaucracy, less bullshit. It's easier for you. And I fast forward a little bit. So what is our solution, and what we recommend when you want to sell on Amazon Europe? Get one VAT in Germany or UK. The negative, the cons for UK is it's outside the EU, so there is Brexit. There is a way that you can still ship from the UK to the EU, but Germany is much better. I'll give you a few tips on why this is the case. Germany is the second biggest Amazon market after Amazon.com. They're located in the center of Europe, so it's a perfect dispatch point. They accept documents in English, so you don't need to do translations. They don't require fiscal representation, so don't worry about extra costs. And the last, but not the least, is that US companies get a quicker. They actually get the VAT application approved quicker, and this is something that a lot of companies don't know. So just one VAT, and you can sell across the whole European Union. Use that as the dispatch point. You start selling to France, Italy, all the markets across Europe. Once you validate that you're selling very well in other markets, then you can set up your storage in the other markets. Then you would need VAT, and you can phone the success, and you can start selling down some markets. But just remember, one VAT is enough for you to sell across the EU from Amazon if you're a non-EU company. And obviously, now once you expand, you would need more VAT. If you're selling outside of Amazon, you would need to have an OSS registration, because OSS registration would allow you to hold storage in just one location and fulfill all the orders to all B2C clients across the European Union. And of course, you need to do the VAT monthly and OSS quarterly filings if you do that, but this is all would be covered by HEL tax. So we have the software, so you connect your Amazon account, we pull the data, we have VAT experts in all the Amazon markets in Europe. We have 70 people who work for the company, and we have all the partners that you need. If they suspend your account, you have a partner. If you need funding, you have another partner. If you need to expand outside of Europe, we have other partners. If you need to have your PPC handled, we have that. So anything that you need, I have that as part of my network. And that's why we're doing these webinars, because if you don't know what to do, you're not going to do anything. So just to summarize that, remember, if you're from the USA, only 2% of your competitors are selling in Europe. So I hardly recommend you to give it a try. Otherwise, you would never know. And you can check out our software. We're going to send that in the recording. And we're giving away 6 free VAT registrations, total value of over $2,000 US. You just need to add a monthly or annual subscription to with Health to qualify, and you can book a consultation with our sales guys. You're gonna send that in the follow-up. So I think I was quick because I'm eager to go to the questions. So let's go. We have 11 questions now. How was that? No, I can try probably for like the fast speaking contest. So, but anyways, my ace is stiff already, so we should go to the questions.
And I can tell everyone, Nick, if anybody needs any help in Europe at all, whether it be with taxes or anything, reach out to Nick, because he will introduce you to the right people. I know you said that before, but it's so true. Nick knows everybody. Just reach out to him. He's the best guy, and he'll help you.
Yeah, just one correction. Not only Europe, anywhere.
That's true. You know everybody.
Yeah, man. It's not only Europe. I know everybody everywhere. But let's go to the questions, because that's not important. We have plenty of those, and let's get started. So the first one is from Andrew. It's actually a break. It's 250K per year. It's probably attached to some other questions, so I'm gonna move to the next one from Andrew Kaneski. Abe, will you show us how? And now that we're aware, okay, man, I have no idea. Abe, do you know what Andrew means? You're muted.
I'm not sure if he wants a demo of how to create an advertisement, but that might be beyond the scope of this presentation. Generally, It's going to include creating ad campaigns with the things you want to target.
Okay. So Andrew, now I recommend to get in touch with Abe. I've shared his LinkedIn in the chat. We're gonna send the follow-up with the contact information for everybody, so we'll be able to book a consultation and discuss further. So next question is from Pratik. If we clone the listing, but what about the reviews? So that's the question.
So great question. So the thing about cloning your products is you don't want to clone a product. Well, typically you don't want to clone a product that you've been selling for a really long time, because the market might have gotten more competitive, or things change, right? So you do have to reset with reviews because you're making a brand new listing. So like in our bamboo pillow example, as soon as we figured out that every time we made a new pillow listing and we ran some ads to it, it would instantly start gaining sales, and it would start to rank organically because the competition was weak at that time. We didn't even have reviews. Now you can use Vine to help you boost your reviews in the beginning. But back then, we just were running ads to brand new listings. And if they would sell with no reviews, then we knew we had a hot market. And so as soon as a product would take off, we would clone ourselves. And if the clone went well, we would clone ourselves again. So we would do product testing. We would test a lot of different products, and whichever one sold the easiest, then we would clone and basically make more of a good thing. Hopefully that makes sense, Nick.
Okay, thanks, Seth. We go to the next question from Owara Ejizu. How do we handle the taxes with European market? So obviously, I assume that you're from non-EU, you're outside of Europe. If you sell on Amazon, you don't need to worry about that. Amazon is going to collect the VAT, and they're going to pay it out to the tax authority. So that's a very big benefit for Amazon. You don't need to worry about that. You just need VAT. You start selling. Amazon collects the VAT and pays that to the tax authority. So you shouldn't worry about that. If you sell outside of Amazon, let's say Shopify or some other platform, this is when you would need the OSs, and you would need to obviously pay the returns yourself. So for example, with Health Tax, we're going to file the returns on your behalf, but you need to pay them. But this is only outside of Amazon. If you're selling on Amazon, you don't need to worry about anything. Amazon, they're going to collect the VAT, and they're going to pay that. We just need to file the reports on your behalf. Okay. Another question from somebody who's anonymous. Hello, which is the easiest marketplace to get your VAT? That's very broad answer, but we always recommend Germany. And I explained that earlier why. Central location, biggest market. If you're English speaker, no translations. And that's no brainer. Most of the companies go to Germany and use that as a bridge to expand across Europe. UK was the place to go before, but now it's a little different with Brexit. You can still do that. Your product needs to be under 150 euro to avoid going for customs, but we always recommend Germany. Italy is another location where you get the VAT quicker, but Italy is in Southern Europe, so from a logistics point of view, is not the best location. Okay, another question from somebody who is from Sylvia Wacourt. I would like to have some about my corporation taxes. What should I do in order to get in contact with Nike? I assume you mean Nick, but you can call me Nike if you want. So I'm gonna send you. We're gonna send you a follow-up. You can get in touch with us. You can claim the free VAT registration. We can have a consultation with you guys. Come on, guys. What's up? I've never had so many tax questions. Now ask how we can make money, not how we can pay taxes. Now people are making fun of me why we talk about taxes. But okay, another question from anonymous attendee. If you sold your first brand to another business owner and would want to brand register a new brand, how will you close your brand register on the first one on your Amazon seller account and apply for a new brand? Do you have to create a new Amazon seller account?
I can help a little bit. So we've sold a lot of different businesses, and every single time we sold a business, the seller, or I'm sorry, the buyer was not comfortable unless they acquired the entire Amazon account. So we've never been in the situation where we sold a brand or a business and then transferred the listings from our seller account. We actually had to sell the entire account. And then to start again, basically, we had to create a new corporation, reapply for brand registry. That's why we always have multiple accounts and multiple companies operating simultaneously. That way, whenever we sell off a brand or a business, we're never sitting there with nothing to do waiting. We already had something in the oven baking, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Seth. Sorry, I'm just typing. So, okay, another question from Pratik. Does your IPI affects if we try to sell in Europe but don't get sales in the starting stage? IPI. I'm never heard of that.
Inventory of performance. So if you're talking about creative cloning, then when we clone a listing, we start with super, super small inventory amounts, like 10 units. Because what you're trying to do when you clone your listing is prove that the new listing can sell the inventory easily. And so as an example, if I had 5 products in my inventory and I cloned all of them, so I had one clone for each one, and only one of them took off, that's the only one that I would really care about. And I would do a proper launch, and then I would clone it again and again and again. But the other 4 that didn't work, maybe I only sent 10 units of inventory to each one, and I'll just let those sell out slowly. So I'm not sending a lot of inventory and risking a lot of inventory on those clones until you know for sure that it's going to be successful. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you, Seth. Another question. This is for Abe from Andrew. Okay, thanks, Abe. What are all the campaigns types to capture the full wall?
The answer is yes. Basically, almost every single ad type can be used to fill out the space. So you're going to start out with creating a list of keywords. The keywords are going to include the brand, and they're also going to include the product names. So you're going to have a list of those. You'll also have a list of your ASINs. Some ad types go according to keywords. You're going to build all of those out. Broad, phrase, exact. You're going to do that for sponsored brand headline ads. You're going to do it for sponsored brand video. You're going to be able to do it for, all different spaces. And then there are ad types which have to do with ASINs. So product targeting sponsored product ads, product targeting sponsored brand and video. You'll also be able to do that in some of the sponsored display spots as well. So each spot where there is an ad tied to either a keyword or a SKU or an ASIN, that's where you're going to launch as many ads as you can. You basically want to fill up every available spot. Almost off the top of my head, the only thing that I would think you don't need is an automatic campaign. That you should be running anyway.
Okay, thanks, Abe. Another question. This is for me and for Ryan. It's from anonymous attendee who was asking where should we sell. I think they're from Jamaica. So obviously now my question to her was, okay, where do you want to sell? So USA and Europe. So I'm going to answer, I've answered for Europe already. So like I said, you just need one VAT if you're going to sell on Amazon. You have obviously a partner who can help you import your stock and check your product compliance and eventually translation. So this would be the steps for Europe. And I will have Ryan answer for the USA because I'm not an expert there.
Yeah, I think it depends. This is going to be my caveat for everything. It depends. Let everyone's favorite answer. Your product type, it's gonna matter where you sell. Because obviously as trends continue to develop, where your product is manufactured, where your product, if it's light, if it's heavy, if you have a great stranglehold on your supply chain, where do you have your, I'm trying to think of all the different the barriers, if you will. It really just depends on if you have copyrights on your products or on your brand registration. We talked about that in a couple different presentations today. Where do you want to do taxes for? If you want to pay taxes for or the translation or even currency transaction fees when it comes from euro to US or the dollar or to the yen or wherever you are in the world. I'm just not going to say Japan or just Jamaica, but it really depends on your operating expenses, cash flow. We all talked about all the different nuances. So it really just depends on all those ecosystems. Traditionally, most people who sell in the United States, their evolution of selling, it goes from the United States to North America through NARF. So that traditionally goes through Canada, and the evolution goes to Europe, in the UK. If you have a seasonal product, however, most people can sell in the United States in summer here in the United States, and then they can go to Australia and sell in their summer, which is the United States' winter. So if you think about the product type you have, that's always going to equal the caveat. It depends where you want to sell. So as you're a traditional product and you're evolving your brand and where people are buying and where the data is pointing you, I would always say, as long as there's a demand for your product and your product speaks to those people, that's where you should naturally be following that flow.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. One question for Don from Olivia Zepeda. This attendee who couldn't join, so they're going to watch the recording. What requirements does AccrueMe have to approve a seller?
Sure. I think I might have answered that already earlier, but very simple. 6 months in business, you have to be running your business profitably. And the minimum that we will invest in a seller is $10,000, but that amount is going up to $25,000 very shortly. We had planned to increase it as of January, and it just hasn't happened just yet, but it's going to happen, within weeks, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Don. One question from Prit. Seth, did you sell your bamboo pools in Europe as well?
So we did, but that wasn't a major part of our business. We tried Europe for our pillow, but the pillow in Europe wasn't nearly as good as it was in the US. So we tried Canada, we tried Europe. We ended up closing down those business lines and strictly focusing on the domestic sales.
Okay, no. Seth didn't know me back then, so that's fine.
I didn't, and I was terrible at getting the product into Europe, so I really did need help. That was early days though, Nick. That was like 2015.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking. I was busy back then. I was dealing with my own. Actually, 2015 was the peak of my other business. So we have a few more questions and actually have a surprise here. We're actually done with the questions from the attendees, but I have a few questions from ChatGPT. So this is the first time I've asked ChatGPT to make up some questions for a webinar, but let's do that and we're going to wrap up the webinar like that. So the first question is for Frisbi. What are some key considerations for expanding an international brand on Amazon? And the question is from ChatGPT from today. So Ryan, try to answer it as simple as possible so that our AI most popular thing can understand that.
Darn your artificial intelligence. They're so smart. What are the requirements? Can you say the question one more time? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, let me read it for you. So what are some key considerations for expanding an international brand on Amazon in 2023?
Great. I'm going to kind of go against traditional grain and say, if you're getting an email from an Amazon rep, answer it. Specifically, if it's from the global sales team, I actually have calls from each of these individuals, on a bi-weekly or if not weekly basis. I actually flew to Seattle and did a presentation for the entire Canada team. So these people are trying to grow your business just as much as they're trying to grow Amazon. So if you have a resource at Amazon from the global sales team, it's an insert hack, answer it, get a connection there, and make sure that you hold on to it as long as you can. They can escalate your product listing issues, suppression issues, any sort of PPC issues. They have a great resource team, and you can actually skip in front of the line when you sell into that marketplace. So if you have the ability to get a direct line into those markets globally, again, hold on to that. The second thing is to obviously know your numbers. I would say if you had to be two simple things is take advantage of Amazon when you can and know your numbers. Knowing your numbers means my product is not going to be profitable in those marketplaces if it's the velocity is not fast enough, or if it's not as profitable because of currency exchange. You have to pay higher taxes in certain countries. You're just not going to get that correct profit you need to be successful, and you're just losing money. That's an indication that either your product is wrong and you're not selling it for enough, or it's just not right for that market. So know as much data as you can going into a market before you even enter it. So know your numbers and say yes to Amazon.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan. I hope our ChatGPT guy is happy with that. So another question. This is for Abe. What is HP strategy approach to protecting a brand with PPC marketing? Please give 3 examples.
3 examples. Oh boy, this AI is making me work hard.
Dumb questions, but I thought it would be funny because we've never tried that. So I was curious.
Yeah, listen, it's a good question. I think it might be a trick question because really it's as simple as doing one thing and doing it comprehensively. Just really, really make sure. Well, I'll give you 2 things, thinking out loud. Step 1 is to make sure that the ads for your own products run everywhere your own products are shown. That's it. Cover as much space as possible. And the second tip is not really a PPC tip, but you want to make sure that you have as many products as possible for your brand to show up when somebody searches for your brand. So you can launch multi-packs, you can launch similar variations, you can launch accessories, any kinds of things which will fill up more of the page when somebody searches for your brand. Almost similar to what Seth has been talking about for a bit, but really, really fill up the page with your products. And if somebody likes you, there is going to be a product which resonates with them when they make a search. And it might even be something unexpected. There have been cases where somebody will launch something just because it was easy to launch when they were doing something else. And that turns out to be the popular product unexpectedly. So do what you can to have as many chances for success as possible.
Thanks, Abe. That was a good answer. Next question is for Don. How AccrueMe can help Amazon sellers increase their ROI by 50%? Explain it to a 6 years old.
6 years old. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick example, and this will explain the whole thing. Let's say the seller has $20,000 of capital. What do I mean by capital? Your inventory at cost plus your receivable from Amazon. Add those together, they come out to $20,000. We will match any amount that you have. So let's say you have $20,000 and we give you $20,000. And let's keep it simple and assume that your monthly ROI is going to be 10%. So on your money, you're going to earn $2,000, right? You have $20,000 of invested capital. You're going to earn 10%, $2,000. We're going to give you another $20,000. We're not going to charge you for the first month. And then we assume your ROI will be the same. So you're going to earn now $4,000. So what happens? You'll end up earning $3,000 and we would earn $1,000. So you would earn the $2,000 that you would have earned plus $1,000 from the money that we give you. So what happened to your ROI? You have $20,000 and now you're earning $3,000 instead of $2,000. So you went from a 10% ROI to a 15% ROI with no additional risk. Boom.
Yeah, it was good explanation, but I think, I don't think a 6 years old is gonna understand that. Okay. And we have two more questions and we're gonna be done. So the last one is actually not the last one, the last two is the first one is for Seth. How can post-purchase pro service help Amazon businesses become more profitable, and what sets them apart from the other solutions in the market? So I think, we didn't have such questions. So do you guys have competitors? I don't know, to be honest. I've never met anybody.
Well, indirectly, but not directly. So I guess we didn't really talk about it, but what we do as a service is we help sellers create follow-up marketing for their customers. So let's imagine, Nick, that you sell a product on Amazon and the product arrives at the doorstep of your customer. They open it up, they get it in their hands. And then what happens after that for you in terms of marketing? Well, for most sellers, it's nothing. So they spend all this money on PPC. They spend all this money trying to get ranked to acquire a customer. And then they finally acquire a customer and get the product in the hands of their customer, but then they never sell to that customer again. So where 41% of all of our profits came from was once we got a customer, we shared with you the creative cloning strategy about how to grow sales. But once we actually got a customer, we followed up using direct response email marketing, direct response text message marketing, right? And we had them buy more from us. So what I didn't tell you during my presentation was that every one of our pillow customers didn't just buy from us one time. We reminded them through email and text to buy from us again. And we had some customers buy the exact same bed pillow 27 different times. And then I look at the data and I say, well, that's really weird. But if I look at it again, then there's another customer that bought the same product 25 different times and 24 different times. And we had all these customers buying so many pillows. You wonder if they're running hotels or what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is that they're buying a lot more product from us simply because we're reminding them to. So the way that you make more money from our perspective is by allowing your previous customers that you've already served well to buy more from you and incentivize them to and remind them to. So that's what we do at Post Purchase Pro, Nick, is we actually build out that entire follow-up marketing so your customers will engage your brand and buy more product from you. So pretty simple. I don't know if a 6-year-old's going to get that one though.
No. The 6-year-old question was for Don. And by the way, you guys are in my plans, how to do partnership for brands. So we're going to talk in April. But I think we have one more question for Don and the last one, and I'll let you go, guys. So this is from Andrew for Dan. Dan, is your cut from the net profit or gross margins?
From the everybody calls it different, whether it be net or gross, depends on how you look at it. But it's simply the revenue from Amazon less your cost of goods sold, less all the Amazon fees, including PPC. That's the profit that we're going for. We also include as a cost any of your 3PL costs. But if you have, if you have your car lease that you're running through the business, or you have employees, that's separate.
Okay. Thanks, Don. And the question from ChatGPT for me is, Nick, I don't have questions for you. I don't want to know anything about taxes and VAT. So wrap up the webinar and let these guys go. So thank you guys. You were great. I hope that you will have a great webinar, but it was even better. I think people enjoyed it because they stayed till the end, till I start talking about VAT. Even then, they didn't drop too much, which means that they like what you guys were doing. So they're waiting for the questions. And now we're going to have a webinar probably in April or May. It would be the the hot topic Amazonian girls in the industry. We're going to get them together because everybody say, okay, Nick, only men. We have women in the industry which knows and are doing great stuff. So this would be the next session. So thank you guys. Thank you for accepting to talk and to share all your insights. And I'm sure we'll talk more in the future, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure the people who watched are going to enjoy it. We're going to do like a series from each speaker eventually. Seth, we're going to cut the special webinar so people don't see that, but we're going to be publishing that in the following week. So thank you again for joining and enjoy the rest of the day across the.
Thanks, Nick.
The big
Yeah,
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
It,
It was great.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey.